Obi Kubana, a Nigerian businessman and socialite, marked his 50th birthday recently, and the whole city was shut down by the celebration. Looking through his Facebook page, I saw where he said that growing up, he read a lot of books. And then he posed a question and said, do people still read books? Now, one of the people who responded said that he had always been a person of books, that he had always read books over the years, but that he regrets not reading books on finances when he was growing up. Hi, I'm Gosi Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we discuss books and how to leverage reading for success in life. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you can give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. In today's video, we will be looking at the teenager and his reading habits. The teenager and his reading habits. Now, man is a creature of habits. We have so many habits. Most times, things we do consistently end up becoming habitual. There are some habits that are good, and there are some that are very detrimental to our success in life. Now, in the center or at the core of the successful habits that are necessary for our success in life is reading. Reading is said to be a common denominator among all successful people. It's one habit that any teenager and every teenager who aspires to be a success in life should aspire to have. Now, why is this so? This is so because reading is at the core of our ability to go through college. Reading is central to having a successful marriage, and reading is central to having financial freedom. Let's look at how the habit of reading can help us in going through college. There are so many people from even very wealthy homes who have not been able to pass through college. They were not able to pass the requisite exams to qualify as graduates. This is not because they were not intelligent, but because most of them lack a reading habit. That's why it's so important that as a teenager, you should have a reading habit in your teenage years. May I use this opportunity to say something about the popular slang among teenagers these days? Some people say that school is a scam. I'm here to say that school is not a scam. Yes, because you see, that ability to wake up every day, prepare for your lectures, go for the lectures, and come back to your hostel is a very beautiful discipline that will carry you through life, okay? It's a discipline that will help you even in the school of success. So don't look at school as a scam. My big brother used to say that your world is ruled by your classmates. Majority of the opportunities that will come to you in later life will be recommendations from those who know you from college. Recently, my first daughter got some opportunities, some appointments, and I was asking her, how do these things come? And she said they are recommendations from her classmates and her schoolmates. You see, when you are in college and maybe you are in a club, you are a club leader, you are appointed to do one thing or the other in the club, your classmates are watching you, your club mates are watching you, your schoolmates are watching the way you carry out activities in the school. So later on in life, when they are maybe in their workplaces or they have opportunities here and there, and something comes up and they will begin to think, who do I know that can handle this opportunity well? You will come to mind. If you were somebody who was quite responsible in college, you will never lack recommendations. You will never lack opportunities. That's why I want you not to believe the saying that school is a scam. School is not a scam. So if you are able to have a reading habit, it will help you to excel in your academics through college. You will not be one of the people who have gone through college and who were dropouts. That will not be your story, okay? So it's so important that you develop a reading habit. Now, the next place where it's so important that your reading habit will speak for you, will speak favorably for you, is when it comes to the area of marriage. I was in a meeting several years ago where somebody said that no one is qualified to marry who has not read at least 15 good books on marriage. Yes, the person said that nobody is qualified who has not read at least 15 good books on marriage. And the reality on the ground is the fact that most or many married people have not even read one good book on marriage. So you see that your ability to develop a reading habit in your teenage years will find expression, will help you to have a beautiful marriage later in life. I encourage young people, read wide, read far, read beautiful books. Just keep reading, because you see, just as I said earlier, the brain is a muscle. The more you read, the more you stretch it, and it becomes a lot easier for you to comprehend things, okay? So one of the things you need to know before you even say I do later in life is the pillars. What are the pillars of marriage? What are the things that make marriage successful? And if you're a teenager who has developed interest in reading and you're reading far and wide, before it is time for marriage, you would have read a lot of these things. You would have gained a lot of experiences, so that when you eventually get married, you will not have the challenges that a lot of people who are not reading will have, okay? I normally say that ignorance, one of the synonyms of ignorance is darkness. You must have experienced being in the house in the night and never just takes light, or the light goes, electricity light goes. You will see that your movement will be so unsure. You will not move fast because you will be afraid of bumping your head against the wall. That's how some people go through life, because they are ignorant. They can't take steps. They can't take bold steps. They can't make progress. Why? Because of ignorance. And any teenager who forms a reading habit will not have this challenge. The person will be able to take sure steps. The person will be able to take calculated steps, and the person will be able to have progress both in marriage, in college, and in business, okay? That's why it's so important that every teenage person listening to me should develop a reading habit in the teenage years. The teenage years is a foundational year. A lot of the things that happen during the teenage years will mark or influence or affect the rest of your life. That's why nobody should play with their teenage years. Everything happening in your teenage years is going a long way to determine the outcome of your life. If there is anything you should do within the period when you are in your teens, it is to pick up a reading habit. Read, 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 and keep reading. Don't even believe the lie that reading is no longer relevant. No, the great men who are still making waves, great men who are still succeeding in every realm of life, they are readers. I read Becoming by Michelle Obama, and she told the story of how her husband is an avid reader. He says that husband reads a lot of books. Now, somebody might want to ask, is it why he was able to be the very first African-American president? It's possible, because they say readers are leaders. So you are a teenager listening to me. I want to encourage you to develop a reading habit. You have really nothing to lose by developing a reading habit in your teenage years. It was Obama that said that reading is a gateway skill that makes every other learning possible. When you have a reading habit, you can learn anything to become anything you want to be in this life. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and develop a reading habit. Now, the third reason why it's so important that you develop a reading habit in your teenage years is because when you have a reading habit, based on the choices you make, based on the books you read, you will not have issue with finances. You know, we live in an economic world where we use money to pay bills. We use money to do virtually everything in this world. So if you go through life and you don't have money, it's not going to be a smooth ride. It's not going to be a fun ride. So the time to determine the quality of money you want to have in life is in your teenage years. It's what you do with the books on finances. Going back to the story of the man in Obi Kubana's question that said that he read books over the years, but that his regret was that he didn't read financial books during his teenage years. One can understand. It's possible the man read romantic novels, or it's possible he read, science fiction or whatever. But you see, it's so important also that you not just read as a teenager, you choose relevant things to read. Reminds me of a young Kenyan girl that I listened to. This girl says she studied law in UK, and when she finished her studies, she picked a job as a lawyer, and she was so well paid. She said she earned a lot of money, but that the only thing she knew about money was how to spend it. Consequently, she said she lived a champagne life, buying the most expensive of everything, buying tickets to attend parties in Kenya, then to be in the office on Monday morning in UK. She just blew her money. So by the time she now took a decision to go back to Kenya, she came back with no savings, and she had to start life from the scratch. And it wasn't easy for her, according to her. So she said that the only thing she knew about money was how to spend it. And that shouldn't be your story. It was Jim Rohn that said that financial literacy precedes financial freedom. So if you want to be free financially tomorrow, if you want to have financial freedom, then in your teenage years, make up your mind to read books written by financial experts so that you will gain experience. As money is coming into your hands after college, when you begin to work, then you know that you will be able to invest your money. You will not blow them up, okay? Yes, recently also, I told the story of T. Harv Eker, the author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. He told the story of how he set out in business severally and he failed. He kept failing until his father's wealthy friend pointed him to books, and then he began to read. And as he began to read, he gained a lot of insight, gained a lot of perspective, a lot of wisdom. The next business he started, he said, he succeeded massively. Today he's a very wealthy man. So I want to encourage you, in your teenage years, among the books you will read, please endeavor to read financial books, right? I saw one young girl one day with a very fat Danielle Steele novel. I asked her, how long does it take you to read novels like this? She said, just a couple of days, okay? Now, she can read all those novels, read all manner of things. It's beautiful. It's good to read. Remember what I said, that the mind is a muscle. The more you read it, the more it stretches. You're reading all these novels, you're gaining phrases, you're gaining, getting better in your speaking ability, in your writing ability and all that. But amongst all the things you read, include reading financial books, right? Include reading books written by financial experts. Now, this is it. Look at it this way. In this life, lawyers train lawyers, right? That's why if you want to become a lawyer, you go to school to study law. And who are your lecturers? They are lawyers. And you go to law school. Who are your lecturers? They are lawyers. Okay, so lawyers train lawyers. Doctors train doctors. You want to become a doctor, you go to medical school, and who are your lecturers? They are doctors. So doctors teach doctors. You want to learn how to be a hairdresser, who do you go to? You go to an experienced hairdresser to teach you. You want to learn how to sew, you go to an experienced tailor to teach you how to sew clothes, okay? But if you want to become a millionaire, who do you go to? You go to millionaires, and millionaires have their stories in the books they have written. It is said that the secrets of men are in their stories. So millionaires have written books, told the stories of how to make millions in their books. So a situation where young people are going through life not reading anything, they will think that money making is a mystery. They would think that wealth creation is a mystery. And it is when they begin to reason like this that they begin to go to dark corners, begin to consult mediums to get money. And by so doing, a lot of them complicate their lives. That's why we hear about all the ritual murders and hookups taking place in the country. And most of these people destroy their lives doing those things. But for you listening to me, that shouldn't be your story. The money you are looking for, there are people who have given the step-by-step guide on how to get it from their books. That's why it's so important to read books written by financial experts, read biographies of great men, because in their stories you will get the ideas. Remember, it is said that books are idea banks, okay? So you gain the ideas and you will be able to go all out and recreate their success, okay? So I want to encourage every teenage person listening to me to go all out there and begin to read books, read good books. Now, it's possible that somebody is looking at me talking and the person says, but how do I develop a reading habit. Me, I don't have a reading habit. How do I develop a reading habit? I'll tell you how to develop a reading habit. It's not a mystery. It's not difficult at all. The only thing you need to do is to check out and pick out some books that align with your interests. What are some of the books? What are the type of books you ordinarily would love to read? Choose a book that is easy to read, book that is reader friendly, probably filled with stories, and that the grammar is not too complicated for you. Set up a schedule to read that book every day. It could be for 30 minutes, it could be for less, but make sure that you read it every day. Read a book, read something every day consistently for a couple of months. If you're able to do that, you will discover that reading becomes habitual. See, man is a creature of habit, and anything we do consistently becomes a habit, including reading. So I want to encourage you to go all out there. Think about the books, okay? If you don't have any book in mind right away, I can recommend my book, Wealth Codes. I wrote a book titled Wealth Codes. I remember one lady read that book and sent me a message and said, this book is a bomb. It's a very beautiful book, Wealth Codes. But another thing you can do is to enter a bookshop wherever you are and ask questions. I remember in some of my videos recently, I talked about the secret of the millionaire mind. And one dear sister reached out to me, I think from Oka, and asked me, what is the name of that book again? Who is the author? I told her, and then she went and bought it and sent me the picture of it. She has teenagers. I remember she said that one of her sons, after reading Wealth Codes, says, I will never be poor in my life. I say, yes, that is it, okay? That's what I want from teenagers. Read books, see how these things are done, so that you make up your mind early in life to go out and recreate success. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful video. I want to encourage you to please subscribe to my channel and share this link with every teenage person you know. Till I come your way next time, keep reading.